I love Morbius.
No, you can't like Morbius. No, stop it. Listen.
I really enjoyed the movie.
No, you didn't. You're lying to me right now.
Welcome to the Variety Voiceover Nerdcast. This week, two geeks live in the real world for once. But first, I'm your host, Derek Yarnovic, joined by my voluptuous co-host.
Voluptuous? All right, then. I'm the voluptuous Camden Parsons, I guess. I don't think anyone's ever described me before as voluptuous.
Yeah. Well,
thanks? Question mark?
Yeah.
Me and my auditory punctuations. What a silly goose I am.
Indeed.
Derek, can I be honest with you, buddy?
Sure.
My chest hurts a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I imagine that did not do much for your esophagus.
Yeah, okay, so, on this show we've gone on record before saying there's not a lot I wouldn't do for $5.
Yeah.
And literally mere minutes before the start of this episode, I just ate an entire orange, peel and all.
Yeah.
I put the whole thing in my mouth and I swallowed it from there. I chewed it up and swallowed it. It never left my mouth. Very gross. Gagged once. Only once, though. And then my what is it, sternum? The top part of my, where if I was Spider-Man, my spider logo would be. That part of my chest hurts.
Yeah. I imagine that
That's
your
a reasonable
esophagus, so your esophagus goes all the way down. I imagine you probably irritated the fuck out of it.
I once got the word esophagus and the word urethra confused.
We know.
And told the doctor my urethra hurt.
Why are you here?
I'm like, doctor. Hit my chest. My urethra is killing me, man. I need cough drops or something.
Yeah.
He's like, cough drops
for your urethra. This guy. Yeah. How you doing, man? How was your week?
Not too bad. I finally got to read Battle Beast 2.
Yeah.
In the time since the last episode has aired. I read Battle Beast 2. I also read my copy of Giant Size Spider-Man #1. I thought it was one big thing. I didn't realize that it's I think 3 short stories and then a real small one teasing an upcoming comic.
That's awesome.
In one. Yeah, it was really cool. The first one was written by Kevin Smith, not the whole thing.
Okay.
Well, there was a Chip Zdarsky story in there, and I like him a lot too. Battle Beast 2 was really good.
I just imagine the giant size, and I made this joke before, but it's like opening a newspaper. Just like...
Dude, a comic that big would actually be really cool, though.
It would be. It would be pretty cool.
I also, since the time the last episode has aired, Big Time Rush did drop their new single, I Want You Here All the Time. Absolute banger. I'll tell you what, to be 1,000% honest with you, Thought Only One, their last single, kind of lackluster.
Oh.
To be honest with you. The instrumentation from it is the exact same as the song Sunflower by Post Malone and Swae Lee. Swae Lee? I think it's Swae Lee.
Maybe. I don't know. Tomato.
Yeah. Maybe not the instrumentation, the definitely whatever sample they use for the beat.
Percussion.
Yeah, percussion. There you go. This new song is really good. I don't know what the vibe is, but it's got the piano. I love songs where the piano's like ding 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 ding, repetitive in the background almost.
Chopping.
Is that what that's called?
I think it is. I'm not an instrumenteur.
Me either. I listened to the new episode of the last episode of Jam Mechanics Season 3, Episode 10 came out this week. I listened to that today.
That's awesome.
And Matt's challenge, the Narcissist Cookbook that Bug gave him, was he had to make a song that had a click track in it. I don't know if that's what that is, but it's basically the background was the ch-ch-ch. But he used cowbell.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Very great
Christopher
song.
Walken, I need a little more cowbell.
Bug, they actually made that joke on the show too. Bug Hunter said the F word for the first time, and I felt like it's like whenever you're growing up and you hear your dad swear for the first time.
Yeah, or when your dad gets a little bit too comfortable with you and says some crazy lore that you're just mildly uncomfortable with.
Or walrus, I guess. Or I don't know.
Oh, but we kind of talked about to kind of segue, you're wearing a Bug Hunter shirt right now.
I am wearing a Bug Hunter shirt. I've gone to the concert since then.
Yes, that was one thing that you said that you we staged it. I mean, you went to the concert the day after we recorded. But now you can actually talk a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. How'd that go?
Okay, so I got VIP tickets.
Ooh.
one of the best parts about Bug and Matt being a little bit, I don't want to say underground. That sounds like, yeah, you would know them.
Yeah, they're just a little bit underground.
But they are. They're like indie artists. They're not super huge. Shut up. But VIP tickets to go see them beforehand and like hang out, meet them, shake hands. They also do 2 songs they don't do in the regular set each, so it's 4 extra songs.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
$15 more than a regular ticket. I paid $65 for my ticket. And I got to see it too, because they're co-headliners. It's not like I went to a Narcissist Cookbook show and Bug Hunter was there,
right?
Or vice versa.
It was
Bug
them.
Hunter and the Narcissist Cookbook,
yeah.
Plus the 2 songs each at the pre-show. Plus they had that Jam Mechanics podcast. So at the end they came together and did Jam Mechanics songs.
Oh, that's really cool.
So it was basically like 4 shows for $65,
which is amazing.
Sincerely,
honestly.
I implore anybody who's interested. I check them out. I really like I said. I've said last time I cannot put them out there anymore. I know this isn't much, but
yeah,
listen to the Narcissist Cookbook. Listen to Bug Hunter, and if they're around you, you should totally go see them live. It is a great experience. I've seen them twice now. I went by myself this time. Unfortunately, been having some stuff going on in my life. Kind of been struggling, to be honest with you, and Bug Hunter has a lot of songs that are like downers. He definitely is more of an upbeat kind of artist, of like a look on the bright side kind of thing. But he's got a couple different songs where it is kind of like a introspective, I don't want to say woe is me, because he doesn't, actually funny enough, when I met him, we talked about this a little bit. He doesn't really have a whole lot of songs where he wallows. A lot of the time, if there's a song where it's like, this awful thing's going on, or woe is me type of thing, by the end of it, there's some kind of resolution or like a way to look forward type of thing. And we talked about that too. There's a song he has called Headlights, where that's like the only song he has where it doesn't really have that. It's just this acceptance that, sometimes people come in your life and then they just go, and you really have no choice but to keep moving forward.
Right.
And
which is really cool.
And they said, well, that's something we have to talk about. And then when our conversation was going on, at the end, he's like, do you have any songs that you want to hear you think might not be in the main set that might be something you'd want to hear at the pre-show? And I was like, like I said, I don't really listen to a whole lot of the downer stuff. I love the upbeat, but like I've been really into this song Deserve Me recently. And he was like, you know what? I don't typically play that song live, but for some reason that song's been speaking to me a lot recently, and it's actually in my main set. I was like,
oh, that's awesome.
Bug Hunter. It felt like this like universal thing. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I talked to him for a little bit. I got to shake both their hands, take pictures with them. They're both just such nice people, to be honest with you. And great fan base too. I'm super awkward, so I didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah. But
they were all very nice people. And it was just a great place to be around. And then he played Deserve Me, and I can't say for sure, but I had a moment where I definitely locked eyes with him, and it was I cried during that, so I'm not gonna lie to you.
As you should.
Been going through it.
How many people were at the meet and greet?
About a third of what was at the main show.
Okay.
And the show was like a full. It's like an underground venue, so it was basically like a basement almost.
Okay, yeah,
but it was full.
Okay, that's cool. I know that there's I've been to one meet and greet.
It was Rodney Radke.
No.
Still with a word.
No, I actually saw him outside of the venue by chance.
Oh, okay.
It was not like I didn't pay for this.
Man, this orange Faygo tastes kind of pulpy today for some reason.
I can't imagine why. But no, I went to a meet and greet with a friend of mine. I had no idea who the band was.
It was Bug Hunter and the Narcissist Cookbook.
No.
Just kidding. You turned me down.
It's been a few years since. But I didn't like I liked their music a little bit, but it wasn't like crazy. And
there's pulp in my teeth.
I'm sure there is.
Ow. Oh,
but basically we went to the meet and greet, and there was like maybe 10 people there.
Oh wow.
So it was
like a small band?
It was it's a mainstream band.
Oh yeah.
I just can't remember the name off the top of my head. It'll come to me later, and I'll
All Time Low.
No.
Been on a big kick right now for like 2000s pop punk music.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. Listen. Sorry that we're friends and we talk outside of the podcast, but sometimes I have interesting things to say that I say to you, and I also want to say on the show. So maybe you cut a brother a little bit of slack and just indulge me when I want to talk about 2000s pop punk music, okay? Been listening to a lot of Good Charlotte and Simple Plan, okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm telling you.
Oh, I peaked this so hard.
I'm telling a story, my man. Telling a story about my one and only.
No, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
And,
you're right. I'm so sorry. My ADHD's kicking in. I
It's
apologize.
okay. But they were going around the room asking like people's favorite songs and this, that, or the other.
Uh-huh.
What would you like to hear? There was 10 of us. Mind you, my buddy knows all about them.
Mm-hmm.
Been following for years. They got to me and they were like, "How long you been listening? What's your favorite song?"
I'm here with this.
I'm like, I heard you guys like 2 days ago. I like this one. It's pretty cool. All right. They went to the next person.
Was it awkward?
It was so awkward.
Did you like it?
No. I don't think, like, if someone offers me a meet and greet ticket that I don't buy myself, I'm never going. Because, like, if you go to a concert for a meet and greet
I think it
and you don't
depends
know
on
who they
the
are.
crowd, though. 'Cause like I said, at least in my case, like when they went up and talked to everybody, like it was conversation. It was like a, you know, you get into like, what do you want to hear? And if you were like, you know, I'm new here, or I'm here with a buddy, whatever, they would have been like, oh, well, cool. Yeah, I'm glad you get to experience this for the first time. You know, things like that. Like, they were super nice about it. Like I can imagine if it was like you said it's a mainstream band. I can imagine that would be different for sure.
Yeah,
but
yeah. It was like 4 or 5 guys, and then like
I
they had-
love Five Guys. I haven't
Yeah.
had that in a while.
They had
though.
like makeup and like cool jackets and
Was it Kiss?
no.
Did you see Kiss?
I did see Kiss live.
Did you?
Yeah, I've seen Kiss live.
Here,
One of the best shows I've ever seen.
Oh, I can imagine that.
Genuinely.
That's
I mean, they're
cool.
showmen.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they do.
One of the first projects I ever had to do that was like media related.
Yeah.
My freshman year of high school, we had this project where we had to take a name out of a hat of a random celebrity,
Okay.
and we had to find interview clips and make it sound like we were interviewing them. It was all audio,
Okay.
and it was just like chop it up, but it had to sound natural. It had to sound like you were giving the interview. You didn't have to necessarily ask the same questions or whatever, but it had to sound like they were responding to you.
Yeah, it had to make sense. Got it.
And I got Gene Simmons for that, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Um,
Gene Simmons, any interview I've ever seen of him, I mean, he's really chill.
yeah, he
So,
seems like a really cool guy.
yeah.
I would know. I interviewed him.
Yeah, you would know. Yeah. I saw a video of Gene Simmons on TikTok not too long ago, and he was painting, I think it was his daughter's face, like giving a little tutorial about the Kiss makeup, and he was putting the white base on, and then he hit it with a sad clown. He was like, "Oh, sad clown," and that's been living rent free in my
I
head.
still can't believe that he bit the head of a bat on stage.
That's
once
Ozzy
before that.
Osbourne.
What, huh?
That's not the same
Pardon?
guy.
Pardon?
That's not the same guy.
I like that
You
one.
just
I
triggered a
like that
bunch of
one
people.
Ozzy Osbourne song where it starts off and he's like, "Olive oil, ah ha ha."
Yeah. So anyway, I got a 3D printer.
Yeah, you did. That's actually so sick.
I have been kind of mulling around for a very long time getting a 3D printer.
Yeah.
And my significant other was like, "There's no one stopping you getting it but yourself." And I was like, "Say less."
Dude,
Bought
just
it.
like My Own Worst Enemy by Lit. Banger song. But listening to that a lot recently, too.
Yeah.
It's no surprise to me.
Do you need someone to talk to? Huh?
Listen, I just ate an entire orange
I
pulp
know.
and all. Do you think I'm doing well?
And you offered to do it.
I did offer. Yeah, that was actually by my own volition too. Like
Yeah.
no one
was
prompted me
like,
to
"Hey,
that.
you should
I
eat
literally,
this."
I looked and I went, "How much money would you give me if I ate this whole?"
Yep. And
And
there's
then
not
you
a
were
lot.
like, "You said you'd do anything for $5." And I was like, "All right, $5 on the table. If you give me $5, I will actually do this." And
Yeah, my significant
also-
other gave you an extra $1.
yeah, I
as a
got
tip.
an extra $1 for performance.
Yeah. Yeah. It was hard
Ladies.
to watch. Oh no. But yeah, I'm excited.
Hey, what do you want to talk about today?
Uh,
The Variety Voiceover Nerdcast. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, man. We talk.
a lot.
That's what we do.
Yeah, we sure do. About a variety of things, like today's topic. We're gonna guess dive right into it. We're gonna talk about and rank.
Okay.
We're gonna do a little bit more of a game here.
A game?
Yeah.
I love games.
Because the last ranking we did two separate lists.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna do a singular list, so we got to agree.
You should have something to write this down.
Yeah. Basically, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna write down. I'm gonna get a list of superpowers. Okay.
Ooh. Ooh.
We're going to do superpowers, but we're going to do them in the context of being in the real world. Real world applications of these things. So, like, how effective these powers would be. Though some are really cool out there. Some would be fantastic if you were in, like, some sort of, superhero world.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't need forearms.
Forearms!
If there's no one else. Like, I think you just get bullied, And we're going to go ahead and rank them from 1. I want to do 15.
15?
15 powers. Okay. And then we're going to rank them to see.
There's a lot of, though, I feel like that's going to have to go into discussion. Because we're going to because...
You want to do 10?
Yeah, let's do 10.
Okay.
Because I feel like a lot of this is going to come down to, like, trying to figure out the logistics of what this power is. Because you could say something like telekinesis.
Yep.
Or not telekinesis, excuse me. Telepathy. Like, because one of the biggest things with telepathy that makes it such an awful power to have in real life is not being able to
turn it off. Yeah.
Like, if I could just read anybody's mind all the time, like it was just there, it would ruin so many relationships. But if I could just, but in the same breath though, if I had that power, it would tempt me for sure. Yeah. Like I'd like to say I'd have the mental fortitude to like keep myself from doing that, but I'm human. I would probably like, who knows? Maybe you're fighting with somebody, and you just want to know what you did wrong, and you read their brain, and then it turns out like they killed your dog or something. Who knows?
Oh wow.
I don't know where I was going with that. I needed something quick. I'm so sorry. But yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I mean, that we're definitely going to have to identify it and define what the superpower is.
All
so
right,
we're going to go ahead and go off. The first one, we're going to go OG, superhuman strength, like super strength.
Okay.
Okay.
That is one of the ones I feel that could be the most applicable, just
Correct.
because like there are people with superhuman strength now. I mean, not superpowered given, but like you can get to that point physically.
Right. I mean, I think to define this, I want to do it in a way that is not like anything achievable by human standards now. I would say like we're talking superhuman strength being like you can lift up
a train cars.
You can lift up,
your
buildings,
friends,
stuff like that.
Derek, I think you're doing a fantastic job, buddy. You're a great guy, and when you host this show, I know it's always something special. We have great.
But yeah, superhuman strength I think is probably one of the most.
I just wanted to lift up my friends and be a good homie. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Fake-o. But yeah, no, we're superhuman strength.
Okay.
As I mean, obviously we have one spot right now.
Yeah, we started off. We'll throw it at number 1 just because there's no other options. I feel like though, depending on the not knowing the rest of the list, I feel like this is going to be the one that would be the most applicable to real life.
I want you to pick the next power.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna go back and forth.
Oh, okay. So there isn't a list. We're choosing.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Density control.
Okay.
I think that would be super cool.
I agree. So we're talking like being able to change, because density would also change the weight, wouldn't it? Or
I think that's
just
essentially what density is, because density is just how close the molecules of something are together, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that doesn't change the weight.
Let's see. The ability to change one's own density. Intangibility, becoming intangible and phasing through solid options. Oh, no, sorry. That's another thing. I thought it was a...
Yeah.
It just says being able to make objects lighter or heavier. So you can basically just control the weight of things.
Okay.
Which, I mean, that has a whole bunch of real-world applications. Oh, it's moving today. I need to move this couch. Boom. It's as light as a feather, and I can pick it up with one hand.
Which I feel like arguably is more effective
than super strength. Because not only are you having the ability to just lift stuff with ease,
right,
but it's with ease. Like, yeah, you could be strong, but it's literally just like picking up a feather.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the weight of it is if you can. And I imagine that it would...
I agree. I feel like...
Limit testing it would be where how many things can you do at once?
Ooh, okay. That might be the thing that would make it worse than super strength. Because
Right.
if you can manage to just lift a bunch of things at once, but in the same breath, you only have 2 hands.
Right.
Maybe if you learn how to crawl on your back, also 2 legs.
But if you also make this desk, say, this desk is light as a feather, can you also leave it and then go make something else light as a feather or heavier.
I'd like to imagine it kind of works like what's your name?
Odoraka.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
where it's like
You have to you
tap,
can
tap, tap, and then just close it essentially.
Okay, if we define it like that, then yeah, I absolutely think that is better.
I agree.
Than.
I agree. Third density control at number 1.
So I will pick the next one. I think we're gonna go power absorption, like electricity.
Oh, I think like being absorbing superpowers. So like that'd be super useless because if we're the only ones who have it, yeah,
It would be. But I'm thinking more of a power absorption. No, that one.
So like just like electricity based powers, or is it just absorption? Like I can't like put it back out. Like I'm not a battery.
Well, no, the one I did was actually absorbing and copying the powers of others. So yeah, we'll do that one.
Okay. Number 3. Not a good one to have in real life if you're the only person with superpowers. That or like, or we could talk about like. I mean, I don't think either of us want this because it sounds pretty evil, but like, we use the comparison of like people with actual super strength. It's like
Right.
it's just like being physically fit. Like, could you just like, and then they're just like skinny,
Oh yeah.
like real tiny and frail. I don't know where else that could apply off the top of my head, but like that's messed up.
Yeah.
I think we'd still put it at 3, but there
Yeah,
is
yeah.
applicable things for it, maybe. You
Right.
know? Yeah, okay, here we go. You gotta go with the classic. Flight.
You know.
Flight is one of the ones that always sounds good on paper until you start thinking about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, for one, how fast?
I'd like to imagine it's like a muscle. Kind of like the way they handle it in like Invincible.
Okay.
Where it's like you're probably at a certain level, and then you can get better from there the more you do it.
You ever tried breathing with wind blowing in your face?
That's
super fast.
That is the biggest thing. Yeah, is
like
you wouldn't be able to breathe.
right. You know.
Now, obviously, though, I mean, like I said, this is real world applications though. So like, you could get some kind of breathing apparatus for when you do it, but
Yeah.
how expensive is that? And where would I get that?
Right. It would be. I imagine you would probably do what they'd use for altitude jumping, like skydiving, but like at a much
That
greater
or something
altitude.
like aircraft pilots wear, like the
Right.
ones like real fast, whatever. They have those like tanks and they cover their face, something like that maybe.
So flight itself. We're talking in the Invincible world. We're defining it as like the muscle.
It's
you
like a
can develop.
muscle, yeah.
I
feel.
imagine you probably need some sort of.
Oh, my mic going on.
I imagine you probably need some sort of apparatus. So regardless,
But
of
that's
like,
also for extreme, not extreme speeds, but for speed and for height, because you all
Yeah.
can't forget also there's less air the higher
Yeah.
up you get.
Yeah.
But if you were to just go like the length of like the top of a building and like go at the pace of like a medium jog, you could do that. I mean, you can breathe when you jog, and you're
Right.
not high enough that the air is super dense and it would hurt.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
you can
there's-
breathe on the top of a building
for sure. But like
The other big
what's
thing though is it's super hard to hide your identity if you're.
flying.
And people are, like I said, real world application, 1,000%. If there's a random dude flying above Ohio,
They would absolutely.
they're gonna be like, the
leave,
government's gonna be like, hey, come here.
yeah, they're not gonna let you do it. You know, and I imagine like
I'm just gonna keep going higher. What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Try and jump. Try and
we
get.
have
Aircrafts.
aircrafts.
Just on my aircrafts too.
Yeah. But like to put the
Go ahead, say it.
shut the fuck
Go
up.
ahead, say it.
No. We're doing real world, so like obviously all of these things are going to have some sort of, you know, government oversight, you know.
But that's if you're caught. That's what I'm saying. As far as these go, a lot of these so far, especially something like the light thing, not like the density, you can just make it seem like you're strong. Things like that. But the flight is super. How does a person fly?
Yeah.
If you're in the air, you're gonna get caught. You're gonna get attention drawn to you. Like you can't like
right.
hide that. Strength, even the same thing too. And what was the other one we said already?
Power absorption.
Yeah, the power absorption would be the easiest one to hide because
Yeah.
you're probably not gonna do anything with it. You know.
Yeah.
So, but flight, you definitely get caught with.
Okay. Does that mean that we're putting it at 4 though?
Or we have above it strength and.
So we have density controls, super strength, power absorbing, and then this would be the 4th one.
No, I would say this is still better than power absorption, but I just feel like there's so much that makes it not. The other big thing too is bugs. Could you imagine flying and just?
Yeah.
You'd have to wear some kind of helmet regardless of the breathing.
The visor and
yeah.
Yeah.
Or your mouth. Could you imagine like trying to fly? It's like whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I would say throw that at 3.
We also have 2 vetoes.
Better than Jared Leto. He sucks. Did you know 30 Seconds to Mars, he's the lead singer?
Yeah.
I did not know that until very recently. I also don't think I've ever heard a 30 Seconds to Mars song. I think I found them out because of that Andy Samberg movie, Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping, where they're like, 15 seconds, that's half the way to Mars. And he's like, well, and I don't know what the character's name is.
Yeah.
But he's like, I told you, man, it's not a time increment, it's a band. It takes a lot longer than 30 seconds to get to Mars. We do not endorse Jared Leto here on the Variety Voiceover Nerdcast.
Why are you making enemies? I like 30 Seconds to Mars.
Guess what? I don't give a rat's ass what you like. I hate Jared Leto.
Just like Brendan Urie?
Yeah. Jared Leto might be worse than Brendan Urie. Yeah, Brendan Urie's done a lot of terrible things, but he didn't play Morbius, okay? And I love
Morbius.
No, you can't like Morbius. No, stop it. Listen.
I really enjoyed the movie.
No, you didn't. You're lying to me right now. Listen, I know we have a lot of disagreements, and I overreact to stuff a lot of the show. It's part of the bit. You can't like Morbius. I'm forbidding it. Did you even watch the movie? Did you actually watch?
I watched it.
And you think you
like
it?
I think I watched it twice.
Dude, I could barely get through it the first time. How could you have possibly watched it a second time? And then the ending with the vulture, I don't know how I'm healed or something, but I feel like this guy does something with Spider-Man. What do you mean? Like, he didn't talk that at all in the movie. You did character assassination of a guy who's not even from that universe. And then, don't even start. Matt Smith was easily the best part of that movie, and it was so cringe and bad because of what they did to that poor man. He was the doctor, for God's sake. He was the doctor. I hate Jared Leto.
Well, yeah, I can tell. I can tell. So let's
anyway.
I think for the next power we're gonna do, shape shifting.
Does it hurt?
A little.
I like to
no more
imagine,
than like your like joints in the rain.
Okay. Old man.
Ouch.
No, there's an episode of Ben 10 where some kid asks him what it feels like to transform into aliens, and he describes it as feeling like a really good stretch. And so anytime I've imagined, unless it's like shown to be like it hurts, it's like a body horror type thing. A lot of time, like some kind of transformation power like that, I kind of imagine it like that, of like it's just like a kind of feeling, you know. And if it's like that, I think this could be great. But if it is like a body horror thing where like maybe your skin rips off and there's new skin underneath and like whatever, like it really just depends on like what aspect of it you want to take it from.
Yeah, I mean that definitely gives like the Deadpool like power thing of it all, like the
kinda
because like he feels it all.
Yeah,
but like at what point do you just get used to it? You know.
True. But like I said, it really depends. I think this is up to us, though. You want to go the Ben 10 route or you want to go the horror
I would say the
route?
Ben 10 route.
Okay.
We're going to go the Ben 10
route. If we're going with the good stretch, I feel like this has the potential to be the best thing here.
I agree. I think that regardless of what your answer is here, I think I'm putting this high.
I can agree with that because I said, even as far as like, because I mean, your first thought was shapeshifting, at least in the real world, is probably going to be like nefarious of like getting into places or doing things you're not supposed to, whatever, which is absolutely... people would do that for sure. But I feel like we talked about strength earlier. I keep coming back to the strength, I guess. But like all of a sudden I'm a big strong man.
I would turn into animals.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And then that kind of adds a lot of stuff too, because you want flight, bird.
Right.
You want to be hot, Camden. You know, like there's so many different animals you can choose from.
I think I'm putting this.
I think number one. I think we can agree it's number one.
I don't think it's number one though.
No?
I think it's up there.
I think it's 2?
I think it's 2.
I can agree to 2, but I feel like there's more practical real world use to shapeshifting than there is to the density. What if we just rock, paper, scissors for right now?
All right. Cool.
Ready? All right. One shot, no lying. Ready? Right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh, that's a tie. Try again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh, I win. I win. Number one. Number one, I played paper and he played rock for those interested, and we did tie with the first time with scissors. So, I mean, don't forget you have a veto. If you feel that strongly about it, you can veto me right now.
I don't feel it right.
We'll stick with the, how about pyrokinesis? Like the ability to manipulate and control fire?
See, I think that there's a lot of niche things you can do with pyrokinesis.
Oh, no. Think about this. You think pyrokinesis, your first thought is making fire?
No, you can control it.
As a pyrokinesis, I imagine, typically also includes absorption. You could be a fantastic firefighter.
Exactly.
That's a whole career right there. And not only career, I mean, my first thought was money. Whoops. But saving lives. You're going to be burning buildings. You could just, like, super fast with just, like, whoa, it's mine now.
Yeah.
You know, and don't even get me started, dude. You have a bonfire. You're going to be the life of the party.
Hear me out, okay? You're over in town A.
Okay.
They see you do that shit.
They see me rolling.
Gobbling up the flames.
Yeah.
But there's another fire 2 towns over, and they're like,
but you can't be in 2 places at once. I understand the, like, maybe concern of, you know, maybe, I don't know, selfishness of, like, why are you there, not here, whatever. But at the end of the day, if you're the only person in the world who can control fire in this scenario, they're going to have to understand that you can't be everywhere.
I feel like it would still, like, people are not, you know.
I agree. I mean, you're going to get back, especially if you do something as public as that, you're going to get backlash regardless. So people are going to call you a freak. How the hell can you control fire?
Yeah.
You know, that's something you're going to have to face regardless. If that's truly, like, you get them and you want to use them for good like that, you're going to have to face backlash.
I think we're middle of the road here.
With great power comes great responsibility.
That's a really good line.
That's actually not the line. It's with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
Nerd.
Well, excuse me, princess.
But I think we're putting this. I want to put this middle of the road.
I kind of agree. I don't know. I would think I would put it above strength.
Really?
At 3. Yeah. How do you feel about that? That's actually in the middle right now, I think. Why we have 5? So that is in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, but now that I'm looking at the list again, do you think pyrokinesis is more useful than super strength?
Yeah. Like I said,
but you can use super strength everywhere. You don't have to have fire related.
Yeah, but like I said, the
how often are there fires in the area? And how quickly can you get to them?
Good point. But you get to think like the recreational use too. Like I said, bonfire, man, your life of the party, candles.
When was the last time you were at a bonfire?
Started on incest. Or incense. Incense. I meant incense.
Don't even get me started on incense. Oh, man. I think that it's less effective or less.
I think I agree. You brought me around. Yeah, I think it's probably less than strength.
But still better than flight?
I would say so. Just like I said, there is more practical application, I feel like. Because flight would be fun and cool, whatever. But like I said, I feel like there's just so many setbacks to it that, like, you could get more helpfulness. Helpful? That's not a word. Is that a word? I don't know. You could get more enjoyment for sure. And you can be more resourceful, I think, with pyrokinesis.
Alrighty. We are tailing the 7.
Tailing 7.
So this will be the 7th out of our list of 10. You hit it me with the fire. Water manipulation.
See, that could be super helpful, especially depending on the level of like control you have over it. Because like,
are we talking like like a water bender from like Avatar?
I'd imagine probably.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking more so was like, is it real world applications?
Mm-hmm.
What's the main thing that works with water? It's the big thing with water. It's drinking.
Yeah.
We drink water. We need water to survive. The problem is there's a lot of Earth's water that is not drinkable.
Okay. So you think you could purify it?
If you have enough control over the water, I feel like you could pull out what is not drinkable and essentially create your own drinking water.
Okay.
Which that in and of itself, I mean, obviously for yourself, but for the real world, for that would solve so many problems if you could just that water's drinkable now, you know. And then you can't even get me started on the waterbending stuff. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
They said something about that bonfire. Imagine being the guy's like, "Oh, we're done for the night," and then you like, and there's a big ball of water, and you like start whipping around. You like do like the basketball thing, like roll it off your shoulders, and then you roll it back, and then you flip it up, and then you like twist it, and then you pour it on the water, and it's like, shh.
Yeah. I was thinking like an athlete being like, a swimmer.
Yeah, and then he like puts his thumb to his mouth, and starts drinking water from his thumb.
No, I imagine more of like controlling the water behind your feet to propel you forward.
Oh, like a swimmer.
Like a swimmer.
I don't know why you said athlete. My first thought was basketball. I was like, how can that be? Or even better, if you could control water. Well, what's the line here? Does sweat count as water?
Yeah.
You could like force all the sweat from your opponents onto the ground and make them slip on each other.
Yeah. Or you could like control the water
Or you could pull the spit out of someone else's mouth. Yeah, no, I didn't mean like eat it. Don't eat it. I mean like, imagine you're like in an argument with somebody and like it's getting heated. You're just like, you know what? And you just like pull all the moisture from their mouth. It's like, why'd you do that?
Like just they have like 17 saltines.
Yeah, it's like, shut up. Undertale is the best video game soundtrack.
I think that water manipulation's up there.
I agree. This is another one of like, I made all these points for pyrokinesis, but I really feel like all those are even more so. And the same thing with the fire thing with that. You could be a firefighter there too. Yeah. They use water now.
Yeah.
And it also depends on like, a lot of that comes down to like the goals, the parameters we're setting with this of like, can I just make water?
Yeah.
Can I just, is it just like manipulating it, bringing it to me? Where are the lines here? Because, I mean, either way, it's still a very useful
It says
power.
water manipulation.
So it probably is not
It would not be
Yeah,
creating
yeah.
the water itself. It'd be able to manipulate it.
Either way, imagine you could, listen, good thing we're good people because you could very easily just pull the water out of somebody.
Yeah.
And you're 70% water, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, just sucking the soul out of somebody,
Anyway.
My turn.
Anyway. We didn't put that into place.
Oh, we didn't?
No. Where were we putting it?
I would argue it's water manipulation is more applicable than strength, super strength.
Okay, so we're going to
maybe more applicable than if everything we said is true, the split whatever. I think it might be more applicable than flight too.
So flight's lower than that. Lower than strength. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I didn't realize how low it was.
Yeah.
Is it better than density control?
I would say yes.
I would also say yes. Is it better than shapeshifter?
No.
I think I can agree with putting it at 2.
Yeah.
Here's a really good one for real world application.
Mm-hmm.
Technopath.
That was one of the ones that I was going to look at.
Well, it sucks to suck.
I'm thinking number 1.
I agree, especially in the world we live. We talked about this a little bit when you picked Upgrade for the Omnitrix last episode.
Yeah.
The real world applications for how much technology is very quickly evolving and how much it is integrated into our day-to-day life. If you could just like have that level of like, intuition with technology,
you'd be able to create it too.
Yeah.
With the industry that we live in, we can.
Oh yeah,
advance
could you? I mean, we're talking about like application, but like the money you could make as a technopath, dude.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's doing it legally or illegally, you could like everything is electronic nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
No, I don't mean bank robberies. Please don't rob the bank.
I'm not. No,
you definitely
I'm not
sound
saying
like
that.
you're trying to help you rob a bank.
No, but I do believe, like I said, either ethically or unethically. There you could do so much.
You could do so much better. I think we should get together now. And that's what everyone's talking about. Hey, you, I don't like your girlfriend now. No way.
Were you alive when that came out?
What year did that song come out?
Probably.
I think I was alive. When did Girlfriends come out? Yep. When did they start?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's off of her third studio album, The Best Damn Thing, which was released on February 27th, 2007. So I was about 2.5 years old when that song came out. Is that right? Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, 2.5 years old. Yep.
We're putting Technopath at number 2. So
2. You think that Shapeshifter's still better?
I think so. Yeah. Well, do I? No, I don't.
I agree. I think Shapeshifters can be super helpful, but I also really feel like
Yeah.
Technopathy can get you to a lot of places.
Yeah. I am going to pick out a power. A power, you say?
Pick a power. Who said that? My cousin Dale. I don't have a cousin named Dale. You know what's crazy though? I do have a cousin named Derek, which is your name, but you are not my cousin. You also spell it differently.
Well, thank you for telling me my name.
You're welcome. I wasn't sure if you knew it or not.
I was struggling lately.
Yeah,
struggling lately.
Who am I?
But the power I'm picking for is telekinesis.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Between the telepowers, telekinesis is definitely the better one.
Right. I agree.
I want to put that really high, but I feel like the biggest downfall with telekinesis is you would get so lazy.
Oh, yeah.
If I didn't have to, because you gotta think, like, what's the limit? Like, is it like a muscle too? Is it like, is there a limit to like how strong I am with my mind, or is it just like, boom, I can?
Have you ever seen what was that movie? I can't remember what it's called, but they basically got telepathy.
Reading minds?
No,
You're talking about telekinesis.
they got telekinesis powers. Let me find it because it was a wonderful movie. So the movie is called Chronicle. It came out in 2012.
Yeah. Chronicles of Narnia: The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
No.
I've actually never seen it, but I have seen the meme where he's like, "Do not cite the deep witch." Excuse me. Don't cite the deep magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written.
Yes. Oh, Aslan.
I don't know.
But it's about an introverted teen. They
Too real.
Get like a friend group, and
Too real.
they have to train it like a muscle.
Mm.
So I like that version of it in the real world. You know, they're able to use it to fly.
I also
and stuff like
I
that.
feel like if we're using the same logic of like it's like a muscle with the flight, I think it would make sense to do that with the telekinesis as well. And if that's the case, once you're able to lift your own body weight, or at least something strong enough to lift your own body weight, there's flight.
Yep.
And then of course you got like I said, I mean, being able to just vroom, and have things come to you, or vice versa, vroom, push things away.
Yeah.
You know, hold things in place. Imagine being some kind of like mechanic and being able to just float all that stuff around you and just grab it whenever you need it.
There was one that they did like a little thing with Legos, and they were able to like separate all the Legos in the air and kind of have them like floating around and stuff like that. So
That's so legit.
It is. It's really cool. And he was like putting them together and stacking them as like a training technique. But I think that it's. I mean, that's a dream power. Like that's something.
I agree. Like I said, and as far as I can think, there's no real setback to telekinesis. Maybe like headaches or something.
Yeah, in this movie they had like nosebleeds and headaches.
Yeah, I would say that would be my only thing. But like you said, if it's like a muscle, you'll get used to it eventually. You'll get better at it, and it won't happen as much, I'm sure.
Right.
So even then, it's just practice makes perfect. Even the bad stuff you can kind of iron out.
And I feel like telekinesis can be hidden pretty well too.
Oh, 1,000%.
You
And
know?
like I said, especially when you start getting good at it, kind of like Stranger Things. You know, her nosebleeds. Oh, it's obviously her, whatever. But like when you start to get good at it, and that doesn't happen anymore, it's boom, super easy. You can hide that for sure. Because is someone gonna see that you're using your mind? The most they might see is you like squinting at something. It's like maybe you just have bad vision. I wear glasses. It'd be
easy.
We can finally be bees.
BB.
It'd be reasonable for me to be squinting at stuff.
Yeah. So like, where are we putting that at? Like, I think that.
I would be willing to say number 1.
Really?
Maybe number 2. How do you feel? And tell me, how does that make you feel?
I feel like it's better than shapeshifting for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure it's better than Technopath.
I feel like Technopath is basically just telekinesis, but specifically for technology. And while there's a lot of applications, especially because the two biggest things that come with technopathy is like the innate control of them, where it's like vroom, 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 take them all apart, whatever, like the telekinesis thing. But the other big thing is the knowledge of them, which you wouldn't have with the telekinesis. But the thing is, you can learn.
Yeah.
And if that's the route you want to take, you have telekinesis and you're smart with computers. Which isn't the same thing as technopathy, but it's almost it'd be close enough that you can basically have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would be willing to take the sacrifice to be not as knowledgeable on technology if it meant being able to use it on more than just technology.
That's fair. I think you swayed me. I think I could.
Oh, I'm
put
so
that.
sorry. Can I tell you, when I was
Yeah.
at the Bug Hunter concert too, they during the jam mechanics part, they started to tease whatever the next song was going to be, and it was really quiet while they were doing their bit, and they started to tune their instrument like really quickly. It was maybe a couple of seconds, and the second I realized what the song was, I did that, the yippee, and the room started cracking up, and then they paused. Like, I think that might be the most genuine reaction we've ever gotten to like setting up a song before. Someone's really excited to hear this, and I was like, It's me, Bug Hunter. I'm the yippee guy.
I'm the yippee guy.
Maybe I'll clip this and send it to him. Be like, Bug, it was me. I'm the yippee guy.
I am the yippee guy.
I'm also a white guy with a podcast, and when you called it out in the show with like, oh, we know the societal like, cliche that comes with two white guys that have a podcast, I'm thinking, Bug Hunter, that's me, man.
Same.
Bug, and mine's not even half as popular as yours. That's fair though. So good.
Fraction.
Check out Jam Mechanics, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And while you're there, you can also check out Variety Voiceover. You can also find Variety Voiceover on Instagram and TikTok at Variety Voiceover. On Twitter, we are at VVoiceoverPod because Variety Voiceover was one letter too long.
There's a lot on that list that are like bangers.
Magnetism.
Magnetism. In the list of light manipulation.
Magnetism. Listen, if you're questioning me right now, you have not seen enough media with Magneto in it.
Trust me, I know Magneto. He's an Omega level mutant. Isn't he like an Omega like that even?
I'm not 1,000% sure. I'm not the biggest X-Men guy, but I have seen a fair bit of stuff with Magneto in it. And long story short, if you know what you're doing, magnetism is hella legit.
Right.
Dude, the Ultimate Universe, the original Ultimate Universe in Marvel, because the whole thing with that was it was supposed to be a new jump on point where you didn't have like 30, 40, 50 years of history. It was pick up this book and start.
Right.
So they didn't do a whole lot of big, like, you have to read this, and this to understand what's going on. They did it, to my knowledge, twice. Mm-hmm. One of which is Secret Wars, which we've talked about a lot on here. And the other one was an event called Ultimatum. Mm-hmm. The whole plot of Ultimatum is that Magneto took the magnetic field of planet Earth and tilted it and basically flooded the planet.
Dope.
I know!
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're not evil, I think. So, like, we wouldn't do something like that. But, like, that's just, that's the extremity of it. Right. Magnetism is super, super legit. And like I said, once you know what you're doing with it, it could be super useful. And you gotta think, too, and this is another example of basically diet telekinesis because it's just metal.
Yeah.
Or magnetic fields. Which everything has. You can distort and mess with a lot of stuff. But another thing, too, I guess now that I'm saying all this out loud, is this isn't a great power for somebody who's not evil.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be a lot of whole real-world applications for this that aren't just, like, messing with people or messing with businesses or things like that. So maybe this isn't as great as I started this conversation with.
I love how you deconstructed
I
the whole argument.
I convinced myself otherwise through the length of that explanation.
I like magnetism. I like Magneto as a villain or as a character, even as whatever perspective you have on.
He said the thing. He said the thing. Here's a quick aside, real quick, that I'd like to have for a second. Yeah. Do you know a super huge, crucial part of Magneto's origin story is that he is a Holocaust survivor? Yeah. Part of the reason he's so angry with humanity is because the way that humanity treats the mutants in the comic, he says, is very comparable to the treatment of the Jews during the Holocaust. And I've already been through one of these. I'm not doing it again.
Didn't he have like the numbers on
He does. I don't know what it is offhand, but he has the numbers on him. And it's a huge part of his character. It's part of the reason he hates humanity so much is that he's been in the depths of the most evil point of humanity, arguably, Yeah. But the thing with Marvel is they have what's called a moving timeline, where everything takes place in the present.
Okay.
But as time goes on, it's now 2025. Anyone who would have been, I think he was a kid in the Holocaust. So it would have been like maybe like 8 to 9 in 1945. He'd be like 80 years old now, and that's you can't be a villain in 80 years old. I mean, you can, but you can't Magneto in 85 years old.
No.
You know, so it's like they've worked around it a little bit with people like Captain America, where it's you got frozen in ice in 1945,
Right.
So now it's present day, and you're the same age, whatever. But it was something as crucial as the Holocaust, and then watching this happen, and then obviously the Civil Rights Movement in the 60s, which is another huge part of Magneto's character. You know, like, at what point do you think it's going to go from Magneto just can't be a part of stuff anymore because he has to be grounded in this point in history, or B, that won't be part of his character anymore? Because I feel like you can't take that out, but you also can't keep the revolving door unless you do the Captain America thing and somehow freeze him in time, but, like, come on.
Yeah,
you know?
that's already been done.
What I guess what I'm more so asking is, what do you think would be the better option? Phase out that part of his history, make him a historical piece. Like, what do you feel works best there?
You know, there's many different ways to go about it, and where you can have some sort of allow his origin story to be, and then keep going forward, like you said, or you can give him some sort of come to the reality of people showing him the good, kind of, stereotypical change.
Well, he goes up and down all the time in the comics. That's part of a huge thing with Magneto, is that Magneto's not necessarily wrong. He's just an extremist.
Yeah.
You know, which is what makes him evil. You know, extremists, like, you can't do the stuff that Magneto does. Even if what he's saying is absolutely 1,000% the truth, he's doing it in the most horrid and rancid way possible, you know? Another thing that I just thought of, too, that might be a possibility is make him a descendant. I feel like it would take away, though, because he wasn't part of the Holocaust himself. Okay. But maybe say, like, his father or maybe his grandfather was part of the Holocaust and maybe was taken from him sooner than he should have been because of the events. Maybe say, like, his grandpa was part of the Holocaust and then he was born later and then finds out this history or whatever, XYZ. Like, I don't know.
But there's got to be an emotional attachment.
That's what I'm saying. Is I feel like that wouldn't work as well, but if they have to keep it to the point where they can keep him going and have some kind of attachment to the Holocaust specifically, it might have to be some kind of ancestry thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, real sidetrack. Magnetism.
Yeah.
Magnets. How do they work? Magic.
Attraction.
Attraction, you say? What's crack-a-lackin'?
I think that it's worse than density control.
I agree. I talked myself out of it.
Yeah. I think it's better than super strength, pyrokinesis, flight, and power absorbing. Obviously, that one's the bottom of the list because it was an oopsie. But I think that we're going to throw that at number 6.
There you go. That completes our list, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
A delight to be sure. Why don't you run it back? Tell us what we got there on that there list.
So as of right now, and we didn't use any vetoes, so
we didn't. We managed to be pretty.
As I'm reading, I mean,
that's
we can come.
agreeance.
We came to agreeance. But if there's anything in this list that you're like, wait a minute, we could change one time. I imagine we probably won't.
Yeah, but we'll give it a rundown real quick.
Number 1, telekinesis.
Yeah.
Rightfully in the top spot. Number 2, technopath.
Yeah.
Number 3, shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Number 4, water manipulation.
Yeah.
5, density control.
Yeah.
6, magnetism.
Yeah.
Number 7, super strength.
Yeah.
Number 8, pyrokinesis.
Yeah.
Number 9, flight.
Yeah.
Number 10, power absorbing.
Yeah.
I thought that flight would have been higher.
Like I said, flight's one of those things. Flight to me is always the go-to of like, this would not be as fun in real life as it is in fictional stuff. Like, if you're in a fictional universe, like for sure, go for it, 100%. But if the whole point of this is real world application, and in the world we live in, if you could fly, it would suck.
I feel like flight as a power is an additive power.
Is it what?
Is like an additive power. Like it's a power that you have when you have other things. Like you don't just fly.
You know what I'm shocked we didn't talk about at all is super speed.
Yeah.
Because super speed's another one to me that, like, there's so much that could go wrong with super speed.
Oh yeah, and the friction of it all, like I mean, the
Speed
Force kind of gets into that.
But you didn't say Speed Force. It's just super speed.
Right.
The Speed Force is to me the thing that makes it okay, because a lot of the problems that come with super speed is like noped by the Speed Force. Like the Speed Force gives you the biggest thing, in my opinion, at the very minimum, is perception. Even if you can move that fast, your brain can't, and your eyes can't either. You know, like, maybe you could train to get to a certain point where, like, I was just playing Tetris before we started, and you saw how I was killing that, you know.
Killing it, man.
But, like, who knows? You know, I couldn't do that on my feet.
No.
You know?
And I think there's also another one where it's like that they brought up in the only thing that I've seen with it was like the actual TV show Flash.
You ever seen that at all?
I have.
I stopped watching after I think like season 4 or so. Yeah. But it's the only CW show I caught up with.
It's getting repetitive with a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah.
But the calories.
That's a pretty regular thing too. Did you see the Flash movie?
Yes.
Like the new one from 23?
The one where he had to like
with Ezra Miller where he put the baby in the microwave?
Yeah, I've seen
that sucked. But they did talk about that in there too.
Yeah. The calories that you need to
that's kind of a standard though for like
for
speed characters is that you're burning a lot because you're doing a lot of physical work, so you have to eat a lot to compensate for it.
Right, which obviously is crazy, but like you can burn off calories, but your body is not going to consume those calories faster. Like you can,
but that's the point though, is that your body is.
But no, but you could put food in your system.
Oh, I see.
But you're not going to shit fast.
Could you imagine if you like eat something and you immediately shit your pants? That's the super speed.
That's just getting your gallbladder taken out.
Yeah.
But no, like just in general, like you have to consume a lot of calories, so it has to be super dense calories.
Yeah.
Where you're not filling yourself up with, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because you can't use it anymore.
Ultimately, good thing we didn't have it on there because it would have been ranked pretty low.
Yeah, I agree. I think in theory it's one of those things that are like really cool, but like, man.
Another example of it just wouldn't work in the real world.
But yeah, we are going to segue on over into our challenge. You know, if you also read either Tech Jacket Volume 2 or Something is Killing the Children Volume 2, you could tell us about it on Twitter at VVoiceOverPod. Just saying. Or you can email us at varietyvoiceoverpod@gmail.com, where we'd love to hear from you. Please. Please. Do it.
Please.
But I challenged you last week.
You sure did.
To read Volume 2 of Tech Jacket.
Yes, you did.
What'd you think about it?
Okay, so I feel like Tech Jacket is one of the characters in the Invincible universe that has the most potential.
I agree.
I love Tech Jacket. We've talked about it on here plenty of times. I really like the way they handle him in Invincible, but I think what I've learned from the other two, and you got to remember that Tech Jacket, the original run is 8 issues, and Kirkman made it before he made Invincible.
Yeah, so Invincible's technically a spin-off of Tech Jacket.
But you can tell it's kind of his earlier work. I don't feel like the writing is as padded out as like Invincible is, or even The Walking Dead for that matter.
Yeah.
I feel like he had a lot of room to grow, but I do feel like this trade had the last 2 issues of that Tech Jacket run, and then it also had Tech Jacket was like evolved or something, enhanced,
something like that.
It was a mini series they did during the Invincible War, and I also feel like they cheated the Invincible War. Like in all fairness, Tech Jacket did take out 2 Invincible variants on his own because he's goated like that. He did have to blow himself up to do it, but I feel like they wasted that first issue just being like, oh yeah, you know, Invincible. Well, he was part of the Invincible War. Here you go. Here's that. Anyway, here's the story we're gonna tell. Like, I feel like if you wanted to do that, they needed to be 2 separate things because it's a 3-issue miniseries where the whole first issue is just a tie into something else. I think all in all, it was still a lot of fun. It was a good time. I love Tech Jacket. I love his family. Body parts. Feel bad about that.
Yeah.
They touch on that in Invincible too, I think. But it's been a while since I've read the part with Tech Jacket in it.
Yeah.
But I love it a lot. I can't wait till they adapt him in the show because I feel like they've had enough time that they know what they're doing with this character now. That I'm interested to see how much that's going to change during the show. But all in all, I got to be honest with you, I was a little disappointed with this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Which is wild because, like, I mean, Robert Kirkman work.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's early Robert Kirkman.
But it's still Kirkman, so it was still good. It was a good read.
I love Tech Jacket.
I love
as
Tech
a character.
Jacket too.
I think that there's a lot of room, like you said, for him to grow in the actual TV series or the actual video series of him that it's just going to be a joy to see whenever it comes.
1,000%, yeah.
But we're going to go into...
Yeah, how'd you feel about Something's Killing the Children Volume 2?
I really like the series.
Did not read this one yet.
Yeah.
Don't have it.
I'm going to let you borrow it if you want to.
We were reading these together, though, to make sure we got them done in time.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of audible reactions to things that were happening in this comic. Can I assume it was good?
Yeah, I mean it was a really good volume. Like it was wonderful. I like the kind of like the horror, the suspense of it all. I'm a sucker for secret societies, and like the order and going back and forth with that is really cool. I'm liking the imaginary aspect of it where not everyone can see these freaking monsters.
Yeah.
And
I had something similar to that when I was a kid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bury that shit down.
One time when I was a kid, I had a nightmare that there was a hacker in our living room and he was stealing all of our personal data, which is like super weird because like.
Did you just have like a Comcast guy come over?
No, I don't know. Like I woke up in the middle of the night. It was probably like 1 or 2 in the morning, and in my head, we slept with the door open. It was me and my 2 brothers, and our room was at the end of a hallway, and then at the other end of the hallway was the kitchen, and right on the other side of that was the living room.
Yeah.
So in my head, my door was wide open, and there was an evil person like a couple doors down.
It's called sleep paralysis.
No, I've had sleep paralysis before. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
That is terrifying. Anyway, sorry. Something's Killing the Children.
Yeah, just like there's the way
Is
that
it fetch or not fetch?
Totes fetch. Bro.
Totes fetch, yo.
Totes fetch, yo. But were we out on time?
An hour 9. Actually, we just hit an hour 10.
Okay.
I feel like there's not much more we can add to that. I think that really, these are both just really good comics. Continuing. These are both number 2s. Number 2.
Number 2.
Something's Killing the Children is still currently coming out. We're still looking for the Tech Jacket trade. So if anyone knows where to find 3 and 4 for Tech Jacket, help some brothers out. But Something's Killing the Children is ongoing. If you get caught up, you can start getting those monthly. I think I'm going to work toward that, but there's so many volumes of them right now that I don't know.
How many volumes are out?
I'm not sure offhand. I want to say probably. What issue are they on? Hold on. There are currently 8 volumes in Something is Killing the Children. So, and there's roughly like 7-ish issues in a volume.
Oh, this is interesting. There's a Netflix. There's an TV series adaptation of the comic book series Something is Killing the Children in development for Netflix.
That's cool. I wonder if that'll be any good.
It's the creators of the Netflix series Dark in 1899.
I don't know what that is.
There's speculation about Taylor Momsen potentially playing Erica.
You can get The Mask on Boom Studios for $20.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's gonna be fun, and that was out in August of 2024. So that was.
Yeah, I think this is a newer comic. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like from what I can see, they're on issue 40, maybe issue 39.
There's about 5 issues per volume.
Somewhere between 5 to 7, typically. So yeah, your work cut out for you, but you can definitely do that if you'd like to. I'm currently working my way through Radiant Black. I'm on volume 5 out of 6. And I bought the 3 most recent issues in trade or in issue form. So once I finish those last 2 trades, I can start reading that monthly.
Okay. Well,
that out of the way, yeah, I believe it is time.
I'm going to go ahead and challenge you.
Oh, that's my fault.
Yeah. We're gonna challenge each other.
Yeah. That's right.
So I want you to watch the first 5 episodes of a anime. We're gonna go back to anime of Fire Force. You were really excited about pyrokinesis this episode.
Oh, all right then.
And there's a really cool anime called Fire Force, and I think you're gonna enjoy it.
Heck yeah, man! I brought something to challenge you with.
Nope.
It's a bag of orange. Oh, the oranges are falling out in my bag. It's not not a bag of oranges. It's Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 2, the paper.
Oh.
I had you read this the first time. And it was really good. I liked the first one a lot. I read this. It's about on the Hall episode. I hadn't read it at that point yet, but I've now read this as well. This collects up to issue 12.
Okay.
I am in love with this series so far. There's another one I'm caught up. I have the most recent issue once I've read issue 13, but I haven't read 14, 15, 16, or 17 yet. But I have all of them except for 15. Caught up. It'll be fun. There.
Yeah.
Now we've challenged. Now it's out of the way.
All right.
My stomach hurts from that orange I ate. Fun fact, that was the first thing I've eaten all day.
Yeah, I imagine.
I think it's time to roll for ending! Ladies and gentlemen, today on the Variety Voiceover, we have rolled a 6. And typically on the Variety Voiceover, the host does the ending. But I've wanted to do this one for so long because I thought it was so funny, and I've always wanted to do this, that Derek has so graciously allowed me to do the ending this week, though I'm not host.
Yeah.
So first of all, everyone give Derek a round of applause. Thank you, Derek. Thank you. Number 6 is ad read. We are not sponsored at all. We are much too small for that, but we thought it'd be funny. This 6 is a bad roll.
Yeah.
So we have to be punished, right? What is more punishment than being a capitalist shill and promoting something that has nothing to do with us? So today's video is not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, one of the biggest mobile role-playing games of 2019, and it's totally free. Currently, almost 10 million users have joined Raid over the last 6 months. This is old script. Over the last 6 months, and it's one of the most impressive games in its class with detailed models, environments, and smooth 60 frames per second animations. All the champions in the game can be customized with unique gear that changes your strategy buffs and abilities. The dungeon bosses have some ridiculous skills of their own, and figuring out the perfect party and strategy to take over them's a lot of fun. Currently with over 300 million reviews, Raid has almost a perfect score on the Play Store. The community is growing fast, and the highly anticipated new Faction Wars feature is now live. You might even find a squad out there in the arena. It's easier to start now than ever with the Rates program for new players. Get you a daily login reward for the first 90 days that you play the game. So what are you waiting for? Don't go to the video's description, don't click on the special links, and you won't get 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program to start your journey. Good luck, and I won't see you there. So thank you so much to Raid Shadow Legends for not sponsoring this episode of Variety Voiceover Nerdcast. You want to go ahead and read the actual outro now?
Alrighty. Thank you for listening to the Variety Voiceover. That's all for this week. In the meantime, you can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. While on YouTube, you can check out the Comeback Kid Films for video projects. You can email us to be part of the show at varietyvoiceoverpod@gmail.com. But as for now, this voice is over.
I'll keep you my dirty little secret. Dirty little secret. Don't tell anyone or you'll be just another regret. Just another regret.